watching and paying close attention to the fact that, Israel is being very hypocritical in our text here. We see them kind of going through the motions or sort of performing worship of the Lord as kind of this empty ritual, and God says, I am going to judge you for that. And now tonight he actually sort of explains, well, he's explained why already, but he's going to explain further why that is so important. Israel had failed to love God properly, so they did not worship him with all their heart. And it showed with grievous injustice, I should say, against people who didn't have the ability or didn't have power. They were used to stripping people of their power. And now God has promised, I'm going to take your power from you. That is what I'm going to do. So their sacrilege now is evident by this mistreatment of human beings. Okay, when we fail to love God with all our heart and all our soul and all our mind, what happens is we will very naturally, because of our sin nature, we will very naturally oppress those that are around us, those people that are around us. Why? Because we have this, close familiarity with God, and of course familiarity breeds contempt, doesn't it? Well, I'm guarded because I'm a child of God, so I can do as I please, is the way that they were treating it and the way that they were acting. And so God is saying here, no, that's not how it works. And furthermore, I don't take sacrilege lightly. I don't take sacrilege lightly. So the point for you and I is this. As we go throughout our series, let's consider and remember well that we have to strive to be a right reflection of God's heart. It takes effort. It takes time. It takes self-examination. It is not simple. It is not easy. It is not something that we can be careless with. We have to test and judge our own hearts and listen to the words that come out of our mouth, right? Because the mouth speaks out of the abundance of the heart. Okay, and so God is saying here, listen, I see what you're doing, even under the auspices of your religion, and I'm going to respond accordingly. And so as we rightly divide the Word of God, what happens is it enables us to live as God designed. So now tonight in the end of chapter 3, what I want us to notice here is that wholehearted worship of the true God is the key to justice. Right? Half-hearted worship leads to the mistreatment of our fellow human beings. But as we deviate from God, as we abandon God, as we abandon godly principles, what happens is there is this disintegration that comes into a culture, into a society, and without fail, it means oppression. For somebody, and I've said here, I've advocated before, the fact that it generally is seen, number one, in treatment of women and treatment of children. The children and women feel it first, although it will not long be that those who are poor, those who are disabled, all those groups are going to be fair game to a culture that lives as though there is no God. All right, so God's going to be this mighty warrior. We heard that already. We're going to see kind of a reference to it again tonight. God raged against the 6 cities, Israel and Judah, and he's going to be against Israel again. It says there in verse 1 of chapter 3 that he hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt. That's a reference to Jacob, obviously. Jacob is Israel. And Jacob, God promised to protect him. God provided for him. God took him out of a position of extraordinary weakness and extraordinary oppression at the hands of Egypt. And yet somehow Israel seems to think, the ancient Israelites seem to think, well, we are not Egypt. So we can persecute and oppress and force and compel other people to do things that we want.